But yeah, so like we had you on, we kind of talked like how meaningful this season is going to be, and of course, like how crazy the home opener is going to be. I mean, Andrew McCutcheon returning to PNC, that's going to be huge,
Mhm.
and it was. But the story I want to talk about here too was you're pretty influential on this whole blackout PNC. I mean, we know what happened in the wild card game; it was blacked out. How great the atmosphere was and such, and it was like 36 hours before the game. I saw your tweet out there about blackout PNC, and you made it happen. So I want to talk like how that come about. What started? Whose idea was this? And like all the work you guys put in to make it happen.
I did not make it happen. I just maybe pushed it along. In 2013, we were sitting around as a team, and of course, most good things come from our wives, right? So a couple of wives were talking about college football and whiteouts and blah blah and crazy atmosphere. We're just talking about what the playoff game would be like in 13, and like just like a bro moment, me and Kutch just look at each other like it's like we should do a blackout. He goes, we should do a blackout. And I tweeted it out. Like I just was the instigator to move it forward. The idea came from someone else. I can't remember who, but yeah, it was just a city that wanted to rally around a really good team, a team that they've embraced. I mean, it was 20 years. And then thinking about Kutch coming back, and then all of a sudden AJ and Russ, it's almost like you had to. And it's crazy enough, Neil wasn't even supposed to be in the booth. Bob Watt got sick. So it was just one of those moments. It was like, you know what, Brownie's throwing it out there kind of nonchalantly. Like, wouldn't it be nice?
Mm,
Everybody
I
showed
see.
up in black. I'm listening to the broadcast as I'm getting ready for the post game show. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I told my wife, I was like, remind me, I'll forget. I really want this to happen. I set an alarm on my phone. I was like, this is going to happen. So I wrote it out and sent it out, tagged as many people, tagged you guys, and it just took off. I mean, that's the city of Pittsburgh. It's a giant family. I think going back to the 70s and think about that team and learning the history here, they'll embrace you. Just work your tail off, show them love, own your mistakes, and they're going to be happy. And I think the reception of them coming in all black and the roar when Kutch, I mean, honestly, the roar when his mom started singing, which was also not supposed to happen. That was
Oh,
completely
really?
random. Yeah, she was there. They went and got her and asked her if she would do it because someone had to cancel. I mean, you just can't put all those things in motion. It's just one of those things. It was a God thing. It was the universe thing. Whatever you believe, it was bigger than us. And it was good for the city because they needed to see it. And I think the organization needed to see it because it just shows how much power guys like Kutch have, AJ have.
Right.
And sometimes signing those guys may not fit the narrative or fit the mold that you want, but it fits the city. It fits what we embody. And I think that's exactly what happened. And I mean, we played really well too. So it just shows up in a whole different way here.
Yeah, I had a feeling there was no way the Pirates were losing that game. And like you said, I mean, we knew AJ was throwing out the first pitch. You knew Kutch was coming, right? Then Russell Martin's, catching it and such. But like you said, like other things just started like working out.
Oh, it's unreal.
Neil was on the broadcast, like you're already there in the booth and stuff. You're throwing all this stuff out there on Twitter. And yeah, Kutch's mom, again, I didn't realize like those weren't even supposed to happen.
No,
Like
I mean, it's nuts when you really think
fantastic that
about it.
did.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's one of those things that you just kind of wish and hope, and the city just embodies it, and then everybody's making shirts. You can see the Black Sea kind of coming into the stadium. And I was just like, wow, this is what it's like. This is a baseball town. I know hockey and Steelers football has been huge here, but this is a baseball town through and through. And I think as soon as we start showing consistent signs and they show consistent effort to make the team better and better, I think the city's just going to embody this team because the personality, the veteran leadership. I think we have the right coaching staff right now. I haven't got to know all of them well enough to say that about everybody, but most of the guys I've met, I mean, you're talking about a group of men that are really coming together. I know Hurdle said it all the time, but he was a great speaker. They actually are doing it. There's a different feel in that clubhouse. It's free, and guys are coming into their own. It's really neat to see. Like it almost like puts me back a little bit at times because like you don't see that often in Major League Baseball anymore.
That's something I do want to get into here a little bit too. But to keep it like on opening day and such, again, I wasn't there. Jim, thank God, wasn't there. Tyler wasn't there. None of us were actually there at the game. You being there, I mean, tell us the environment that was going on, and not even just the environment of like the actual game, but like the pregame. I mean, you're there, you're seeing Kutch now back there for the first time. AJ's coming out. There's Russ. I mean, tell me your thoughts and feelings on that.
I mean, I'm sitting there at the cage with Andy Haynes and Kutch. Me and Kutch always are gabbing about hitting or life or whatever. So we're just sitting there watching BP, talking life, and then AJ comes out and everybody just starts chirping, but everything kind of just stops and turn around. So I feel like he was the pirate. You know, he was the guy that came in and he's all tatted up. He's got a little bit of swag, but he also has a little bit of mean streak that he's willing to show, especially when he's pitching. So when he came out, his kids who are huge now, just absolutely blew my mind. But yeah, just seeing them, he didn't recognize me at first because I was in a suit. He comes up, hugs Kutch, and he's, oh my God, Fort, and gave me a hug. And then his kids came over and gave a hug. And it's just like, man, I haven't seen these guys in years. Yeah, we've talked on the phone a little bit via text, but like you don't see guys, but it's like you never skipped a beat. You know how that feeling is. Like you guys are all spread out all over the country. And
Yeah,
that's the type of team we had. You know, it was the next man up, and it was a mentality of like, hey, we love each other. And we're going to do whatever we can to help each other, whether it's the wives helping the wives, the players helping the players, or the front office helping. It was just a big, giant group of servants. You know, AJ Burnett was a big teddy bear at the end, especially for his teammates. And then he was a dinosaur or a raptor, you know, when he went out in the mound. So that was really, really cool. And I would say the biggest like part for me is I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with how many fans were there, and they wanted to take pictures. It was like we were literally in the playoffs, and it was day one. You know, I hadn't done a game at PNC that year. I
right.
hadn't even, you know, seen anything go on in PNC this year. And first time I walk in, it's like boom, new scoreboard, new sound system, huge crowd, standing room only. I think they oversold it. Just wild stuff. Wild stuff.
It was definitely crazy. Again, like my point of view and perspective, watching the game, it seemed like a playoff environment. Now, granted, coming off a Boston sweep helped. I'm
Oh yeah.
glad that happened, you know,
Mhm,
because that got a bit of a buzz. The Pirates are now 4-2, right, heading into that.
mhm.
So that was pretty sweet to know. But yeah, again, like everyone coming in black and such. And I want to say, I said on our Starbucks show this week, I was kind of nervous. I mean, I saw the intent of, you know, blackout PNC, but I'm just like, that's a lot to ask for, you know, again, 40,000 people now to do it on like such short notice, and like really like the social media aspect. And apparently it spread and everyone got the memo. So
Yeah,
like,
and
again,
I
like
mean, honestly,
fantastic.
the biggest push was on Twitter too. So like how many youngsters I saw there, and knowing that that's not their platform, that blew my mind too. I heard you say that on one of your all's podcasts, maybe tweeted out, and I was like, yeah, that's so true. Like Instagram try, but my following's not the same size there. Like we didn't do a lot on that side, and it just took off. But then, you know, Kutch got behind it, AJ got behind it, Mackey, it just kept going, and it was like, wow, this is really going to catch. And then the next day in the fan, we went, I think, viral in this region or something from that show. So
Oh
it
yeah.
just kept going and going and going. I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. It's just neat to see the city want it that bad. I mean, they loved that team, and they love the team in general. I mean, sometimes they want to smack them around and hit them around, but I get that too. But that's just like that big brother syndrome. I think the city really, really deserves what's coming. I really do.
So how bad did you want to put the helmet on and suit up?
I wanted the gear on. I did want the gear on. I did. I
Yeah.
didn't want to hit. No, no
Just the
business right
gear
now.
on.
Yeah, I have to I have to analyze those guys and just understanding like how good they are right now, and you know, pitching so far ahead of hitting, but they're slowly catching up. But yeah, I did want to suit up, let them just hammer me some balls in the dirt, block them up, throw them to second base, whatever. I don't usually want to jump on the field, but I did that day. Absolutely.
I bet. I
Mhm.
bet. Again, seeing all those people, how much, I mean, AJ should have suited up, to be honest. You and
He should
AJ
come in
all
the
should have suited up.
Batman suit. I thought he was gonna come in the Batman suit. Maybe next time. Maybe the next playoff game, he just shows up.
Playoffs. There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's
You
right.
all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.